We're excited to kick off New Zealand's very first barbecue series, sponsored by Culley's, Mitre 10 and Jack Daniels, and they're spearheading a home for everything barbecue. Through the series, you're going to see profiles of New Zealand chefs and pit masters, and they're going to be giving you the recipes and tricks you need to be able to do this at home. So sign up for recipes, new episodes, and all those tricks from New Zealand chefs, barbecue masters, and even there's prizes to be won for your favourite barbecue products. This week, we're joined by Jamie Robert Johnston, one of my good mates. So he's the exec chef at Everybody Eats, and this is a great restaurant because it's all for charity, but you actually pay what you think the meal is worth. Jamie's got some great experience. He's travelled the world and he's even cooked at Buckingham Palace and Windsor Castle. He's a great advocate for mental health in the hospitality industry as well. You guys are in for a treat today. Jamie's got 3 dishes he's going to be cooking on the barbecue. It all focuses around eggplant. We've got moussaka, which is a Greek dish. We've got baba ganoush, which is roasted eggplant on there, like makes a puree. And we've also got some lamb and eggplant Chinese skewers. It's going to be fantastic. Stay tuned.
Hi guys, I'm Jamie from Everybody Eats, and I'm here with Culley's to do a little barbecue cook-off situation, and we're using the Kamado Joe Classic 2, so this is going to be great. We're going to literally show you how to do a whole kitchen and cook all in one complete awesomeness. Everybody Eats is a non-profit charity and pay-as-you-feel restaurant. So we go out and we rescue food from our good friends like Kiwi Harvest, and then we turn it into a 3-course meal for everybody. So come in if you're interested in food waste, if you're feeling socially isolated at the moment, come through, and then, you know, help us feed bellies, not bins. Okay, so obviously you know that I don't sound Kiwi. I'm getting the twang, you know, yeah, nah, and all that. But I'm originally from the UK. And I came over here, I think about 12 years ago, 12, 15 years ago. My first job was amazing. It was actually at Buckingham Palace, so it was pretty cool and pretty intense. And then I did a bit of fine dining and worked with some pub chains. And then I moved to New Zealand after doing quite a bit of traveling. I went over to Egypt and Greece and some other places in Europe. And then I decided, you know, where's the furthest place away from Ashford in Kent? In the UK, and I was like, New Zealand. I knew nothing about it. I packed just these 2 bags and a few Chef Whites and some shorts and a singlet, and I turned up and it was raining. But I should have probably looked at the weather. But yeah, so, and now I find myself working at Everybody Eats, and it's just an amazing job with lots of amazing people that come through every day. And let's get some cooking done. Okay, so today, as you can see, I've got a lot of meat in front of me. No, jokes. Anyway, so I decided, because I'm a little awkward and I like to just try and be innovative and stuff and challenge myself, I'm doing eggplant. It's like my favourite fruit or vegetable now. We can argue about that later. So I'm doing all my dishes with eggplant. So we're going to do a beautiful Grecian style moussaka from Greece. We're going to do a fish fragrant eggplant, which is a very nice Szechuanese dish, and it kind of ties in very well with Culley's with a bit of chili. And then last but not least, one of my favorite dishes, baba ganoush. But we're going to do it in a way that you can serve it in a one-pot kind of wonder and then dress it at the table, and it's really fun, really interactive. And who doesn't like a bit of baba ganoush? Push, push. Let's do it. Okay, so I'm going to be doing 2 dishes right now. Both are going to be skewers. So we're going to take the traditional dish of fish fragrant eggplant all the way from Szechuan and turn it into a nice like skewered eggplant, and then we're going to take our fish fragrant sauce, which you'll get the recipe for, that will be drizzled over the top. So it won't be like a stir fry and a wok thing, even though you can do wokking in this thing. So this is why I love this thing so much. So these guys are going to be our skewers, and then just for a meat side, as opposed to doing meat as the focus, we're going to do some beautiful Uyghur style Chendanese lamb skewers to go with it. So we're going so nice hot spicy cumin-y, sesame seed, all those kind of flavors, and we're just heating this guy up now, and then we'll go through that when we're cooking. Okay, so normally fish fragrant eggplant is a stir fry dish with eggplant, obviously. So again, with the meat being the side in this, we've got a little bit of pork mince in here, which is fried off with ginger, onions, garlic. We've got like a beautiful chili paste. We're using a bit of Carolina Reaper in there just to give it that kind of heat. We've got these beautiful over here. We've got some cumin, we've got some Szechuan peppers, and we're going to finish everything with a little bit of a special spice blend that I like to make up, which I can show you through the ropes. And then also the last thing I'm going to do is I just made some at home tonight of a little spring onion oil just to finish. So first things first, get yourself some Novelty Nice cases over here like I have, and get yourself a nice fancy knife. And all you're going to do is go straight down the middle of our beautiful eggplant, and then we're just going to do the same again, and then the same again. And just to help get some of that flavor in there, what we're going to do is we're going to score these guys, right? So we're just scoring along here. I hope you can see, just along here like this. And these are little X's or diamonds. I mean, I prefer diamonds, who doesn't? Just score these up, and that'll let all the sauce permeate. That's today's big word. Permeate into our lovely eggplants, and it'll make them nice and easy to cook. So it's a nice chili hit. You get a little bit of Szechuan pepper in there from the sauce, and also don't cut your hands like I'm doing. You know, this is many years of making mistakes. So do it on your board and don't be silly like me. I'm just a bit of a renegade. And then soak your skewers in water. And then what we're going to do there is go right into the bottom of it, all the way to the top. Hopefully I get this right. And yes, we're leaving the green part on because it looks cool. Alrighty. They look pretty cool, right? So then what we're going to do is we're going to oil these bad boys up as well. And just because I'm very sort of Blue Peter moment, if anyone remembers Blue Peter, but if you don't, I prepared these earlier. So on here, we've got some really nice fatty lamb. We've cut up some little spring onions, which look really cool. And then we've dusted these and marinated these with a bit of chili flakes, some cumin, some sesame seeds, some garlic, some Chinese rice wine, and I believe a little bit of sesame oil as well is what I put in there. And then they've just been oiled with a little bit of oil. And then we're going to take a little bit of salt, which is in this guy, and just sprinkle that on, just because, you know, we've always got to season and some of that. And then here we go. We'll just get some oil on these guys as well, using our handy dandy one of these. So just going to brush them with a little bit of oil, just enough to help them cook, but not enough to set your eyebrows ablaze. Okay, so we've got the Kamado Joe. We're going to pop this bad boy open in a moment. We're using heat beads lump charcoal, and then inside we've got the divide and conquer setup, which means there's the grill at the back, and then we've got the heat deflector at the front, so you don't burn your hands and you don't burn these little bad boys. All right, so should we flick it open? Let's do that. Right, so flick this bad boy open. We've got a nice bit of heat in there. Here we go. All right, this feels pretty good. Okay, so let's do the eggplants first. We'll start them skin side down. Alrighty, and just to get that going, just going to pop that down for a little bit, get some heat going. We're up to about 200 degrees there, so that's kind of nice, but let's get a little bit more heat in there, just let it get, you know, a little bit smoky, a little bit tasty, and then we'll put on the lamb just to get some fire going. So I'm going to give them a little brush of oil, just, you know, make them all nice and shiny. And if you come in and you look a bit closer, you can see that our eggplants have gone purple and they're looking dope right now. So we've got that beautiful purple eggplant vibe. Look at that, look at the change of the color, gorgeous. So we're just getting some char marks on there, turning them around, just being patient with it, taking our time, you know, having a good day. And we'll just keep them going for a little bit longer. And we're going to put the lamb on, close the lid, get some fire and some smoke going, and then Yeah. All right, and down the lid goes. Okay, turn those guys over. Just remember guys, use tongs, don't be like me. This is just 25 years of industry experience, and sometimes we just need to feel something, you know? So. Now, what would any dish be without sauce, right? Now, I don't know if you know about me, but I like a bit of sauce, right? So, for this sauce that we're going to be using to go on top of the eggplant, to change it up from being like a stir-fry dish, we've got the fish fragrant eggplant sauce, a really nice Szechuanese flavor. So, we've got a little bit of the Carolina Reaper in there to give it a bit of heat. We've got onions, well, spring onions to be in fact. We've got ginger, we got garlic, we've got some fermented black beans, or you can use miso. All right, and you just cook it up, and then you add a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, you add a little bit of this beautiful black vinegar. It's called Chinkian black vinegar. It's made from black rice. It's really, really yum. And that gives it this weird, kind of cool, zesty flavor. And then a little bit of soy. And then we're gonna finish on the plate with a little bit of sesame oil and a little bit of our special spice mix that I'm making, which uses toasted cumin, some toasted Szechuan peppercorns, some toasted sesame seeds, and then a little bit of cumin as well. And then what's going to happen there is you're going to toast them, pop them in a beautiful pestle and mortar, give me a little one of these, like that. And then once you've done that, we're good to go. And then whatever accompaniments you want to go with it, do you. But I like a little bit of coriander, and just because I don't like any waste, we're going to use the root as well as the leaves. All right, so we need a knife. Zoom. Pop that down there, and then we'll put these back into the garden so they can grow over there somewhere. All right, chuck those there. Give them a little cut. Nowadays, I tend to use a pen and a laptop a bit more than a knife, so forgive the knife skills. But no one won any awards for knife skills, you know. It's all about the finished dish, you know. So nice and rough, a bit like me. Like that, boom. Look at this giant wooden board, looks great. Chop that in there. We'll just take out some of the disgraceful pieces. All right, there we go. All right, now, back to the skewers. All right, so we're sitting at 200 now. That's 200 degrees Celsius, because, you know, I'm a Brit and I do Celsius. But I think if you the way I do it at work, and I kind of tell people if they're Americans, or anyone that uses the sort of Fahrenheit, that's usually double it, and it's usually around there. So that should be 400, yeah, 400 Fahrenheit. So that was good maths, wasn't it? I got an E in maths. It was good. All right, here we go. So one of these broke, but it doesn't matter. So use metal skewers next time, Jamie. And here we go. We've got a beautiful, beautiful bit of color on here. There we go. Sweet. Okay, so I'm going to grab my plate. I'm going to put our skewers on there, and they're looking quite beautiful. Turn them over. There we go. Beautiful. Right, okay. So we're going to give them one more wee little bit of this. Just a tiny bit of oil. Help them out now, just for the last little bit of cooking. And then these guys are done, except for that guy. And that guy. Definitely going to use metal skewers next time. Definitely. Okay, and we'll set these aside, and then we'll assemble the dish once the lamb's done. Okay, a little bit more. We'll move them over onto the hotter side. And there you go, you can hear the sound. Pretty good, right? That's what you want. There you go. We give them the little prod to see if it's done. You can go medium rare, or you can fully cook the lamb as well. Normally, you'll have it a bit further cooked, just because it's the way of the barbecue. But I like a little bit of pink, so hopefully we've got a bit of pink in there. And I dropped one on the floor. So we can keep mistakes in, because mistakes are growth. There we go. Boom. I always allow myself at least 2 major disasters a day. If it doesn't happen, it rolls over and then it becomes 3 major disasters. So we've got 2 skewers instead of 3. Beautiful. All right, so I'm just gonna pull the little wooden skewers out of our mates. Pop that in my, my little bin underneath. Boom. This is the greatest thing. Cooking with a bit of fire, cooking with your hands. It's like going back to being a caveman, you know, getting back into nature. Hence why we're in my beautiful garden. So we've got our beautiful eggplant, beautifully grilled. Ta-da! And I actually didn't do anything. This thing did it. So that's great, right? Now we're gonna take our sauce. Now you can do this like hot in a little pan on the top there. I'm gonna go just room temp at the moment. So we're just gonna drizzle that on. A little drizzly to the whizzly, because we like a bit of drizzles. And who doesn't like sauce, you know? Boom. Take a little bit of our spring onion oil. Boom. Just to give it a little bit of that. And then we'll take some of this beautiful coriander that we cut up, and that's gonna go on there, like that. Look at this, oh. And then we're gonna take a beautiful amount of our spicy situation. Get that on there. Boom. And then, just to finish, a little bit of sesame oil over the top. La-di-da. And then, as promised, a little meat side. And I feel like they're nice and pink because they're just starting to bleed. So we'll stick those guys on the side. And again, we'll give these guys a little dusty-wusty of that. Or one of those. That's pretty cool, isn't it? And a little drizzly-whizzly of our mate spring onion oil, because we like a little bit of gloss. And then we'll chop over that coriander over there. We'll use that for another dish. And then we'll just take a chili and chop that up. There we go, boom. Chuck that on top, sprinkly dinkly. Doesn't have to be perfect, doesn't have to be beautiful, just has to be delicious, right? And a little bit of our sesame seeds. And there you go. So, second dish we're going to be doing, moussaka. It's delicious, comes from Greece. What's not to love, right? So this is a lamb mince that has got a bit of onion, some garlic, a few bay leaves from the garden. And then we've got some beautiful Greek oregano in there. We've got some cinnamon, we've got some nutmeg. It's all those beautiful flavors. And then we have a beautiful bechamel sauce. That's your white milk sauce with the butter and the flour to start. And then we add lots of nutmeg in there and a good pinch of white pepper. Okay, so just to show how much this can do, instead of just constantly, you know, like grilly, what we're going to do is we're actually going to cook with this camp oven, cast iron camp oven, in here and treat it like we're just cooking at home. So, you know, as you would your stove, I'm going to show you how to work the heat, you know, and cook in some cast iron because it's fun, right? So we'll do the sauce in here and we're going to do a one pot wonder. Everything is going to end up in this pot and look beautiful and be the most tasty moussaka. Okay, so here we go. We'll grill these first. So we're just going to take off a little bit of the top. Just a little tip here with eggplant. Everyone seems to just lob off the top, right? Because that's what we do, right? Because we're pretty wasteful humans. So what I like to do is I like to take it there. If it's spiky, you know, just lob that bit off. But look how much eggplant you can save yourself, you know. We're all about saving money nowadays, right, as well. So look how much I've wasted, all right. So pop that there, and then we're just gonna make some nice long slices. Make them kind of chunky. I go usually about the size of my thumb. Most people talk in millimeters, but dyslexia. So we don't do that. So there you go. And then we do this fancy like knife chop thing and look into the camera, pretend we're a professional. And here we go, and we'll do another one and we'll see how we go. And just flick that little bit of green off. And again, just the same story. So nice long strokes. And then, there we go. Hold it down there. Look at the camera, don't cut yourself. You're a professional. And there we go. And again, just in typical Jamie fashion, give them a little score, all right? So remember what I said before. You're either going to go diamonds or you're going to go squares. It's up to you, you know, but it's all about the diamonds. Nice and quick. Doesn't have to look super fine dining-y or anything like that, because we're at home. And when you're at home, you don't have to show off. You can just eat some good Kai, and that's all it's about, isn't it? All right, so we'll brush these with olive oil as well. And our olive oil is over here. Cool. So just a little bit on there. If you get yourself one of these ones with the cool little nozzly thing, controls the level of the olive oil coming out, so you don't just end up throwing your money on a chopping board. There we go. Give me a little one of these. And we're going to season these with just a little salt and pepper as well, which we'll do over at this bad boy. All right. Cool. We're at 600 Fahrenheit. There we go. Bit of American stuff for you. Or we are just past 300 C. All right. We want a bit of heat on there because I want to get those really nice bar lines or char lines, whatever you want to call them. So here we go. Push the button. And then here we go. Straight onto the grill. All right. This time I'm going to be very good and use some tongs. So what I'm doing on the oiled side, putting them down there and just being all cash about it, you know, just hanging out. This is usually the time when you have a brewski, you know, just with the bros, talking about some feelings, you know, be quite nice. You know, coals and feelings, it's great. Here we go. Pop those in there. All right, so this is literally just the grill now. We've got the coals open at the bottom and they're just doing their job. So we're gonna grill these bad boys. Treat this a little bit like a steak, you know, even on each side. So if we go 1 to 2 minutes, that's all you're gonna need. 1 to 2 minutes each side, or until you've got the desired color you want, you know. So here we go, boom. Gonna go in here, see how it's all going. Hopefully the glasses don't steam up. Get that bad boy in there. Oh yeah, we got some color, we're doing well. He hasn't burnt it, he hasn't ruined it. Oh yeah. So nice bit of color, like that. And look at that, look at these char marks. And they're not even sticking, which is really, really nice, because there's nothing worse than when you get a barbecue and you're sitting there and you get all your stuff ready and then you put it on there and it sticks straight away and you're just like, hey, you just wasted all that time. And then you got scraped chicken skewers or something. So here we go. So far I'm loving this guy because I get to do everything I want to do on it. So think of it like a whole kitchen, you know. All summer I would literally be out here just hanging out on this guy, because this guy is definitely a good bit of fun. All right, so we're going to finish that off, flip it back down. It's around the 300 Celsius, or no, 300 Fahrenheit or 150 Celsius. There we go. So it just needs to come up a little bit and then we'll do the next step once these are done. Here we go. So I'm going to pop these bad boys on here, and being a little bit old school, I'm using a tiny spoon just because maybe I'm just showing off, I don't know. But there you go, look. Gorgeous old spoon from a Sally's. And there we go. Whee. Yum, yum, yum. Pop those on there. Then we're going to dress these with a little lemon zest. And then what I'm going to do is set it up in a minute to put the pot in there, or our camper stove. We are going to use my handy dandy micro plane. Don't lose any skin on your fingers, because that's quite fun. So we're just going to zest the lemon over there like that. And with me looking at the camera, I'm trying to get all of them covered perfectly, and they are. Of course they are. All right, cool. We'll give these guys a little bit of a season of our S&P over here. So we've got some S. All right, some of that on there on the board. Got a little pepper like that, and we're going to go a little bit of this Greek oregano or oregano. Pop that on there like that. Delish. It's all about building flavors. All right, some more olive oil, because you know that's nature's fish oil tablet. And then we will just hit these with a little bit of nutmeg as well, just to keep that nutmeg flavor forward. It's in the sauce, it's everywhere. So if you don't like nutmeg or cinnamon, this is not the dish for you. But if you do like me, and you have it in your porridge every day, it's quite nice. There we go. Right, we're gonna start cooking in our camping stove. And that's gonna be amazing, because I'm gonna show you how to just like hang out in the garden and just cook for days, all right? And then if you're caught in the wild, you can kind of cook yourself to survive. All right, so now we're going into the coals. It's ruddy hot, all right? So what do we got there? Hotter than your hand can handle anyway. So I'm gonna go in here, we're gonna stoke up our coals. Here we go. Get them ready. Right. And then for adding the pot, we've got this cool attachment, all right? So that's gonna sit inside, so we can sit the pot inside as well, right? So pop it in there, give it a little twist, and then lock it in. Boom. All right. Now, glove off. It's like Michael Jackson. Cool. We've got our pot now. So in it goes. Boom, look at that. We'll take the lid off. And just like you're cooking on any normal stove, you've got to heat the pot up first, right? So we'll just make sure that we get that nice and warm. All right, we'll just lock it down and just pretend like you're going from a medium-high heat, basically, on your stove top. All right, so we're sitting at 150 degrees centigrade, or almost 300 degrees Fahrenheit. And with that, we're just gonna let that heat up to probably about 200 degrees or 400 Fahrenheit. And then we can start cooking our lovely little mince situation over here. So this we cooked before. So we've got, no, my bay leaves. So in here, we've got lamb mince. You can use beef mince. You don't really want to use pork mince, but you do you. We've got onions, we've got garlic, we've got cinnamon, we've got nutmeg, bay leaves, obviously. And then some chopped tomatoes and a little bit of tomato paste. And pretty much you cook that down low and slow overnight if you want to. Tastes quite nice. Or if you wanted to, late at night, when the coals are dying down, pop that pot on and just do it nice, low and slow, and do some thinking out in the garden maybe, I don't know. But yeah, so we're gonna warm that up, and then we're gonna layer it with that, eggplants, some bay leaves, and then we'll add our bechamel sauce over the top, and then we'll whack the lid on, and we'll be well away to go, all right? All right, we're back up to the 200 mark now, or the 400 Fahrenheit, and now our pot feels nice and warm. So if you were doing this from scratch, you're literally gonna put your olive oil in, get your onions in, get your garlic in, and then in that oil, add all your spices, get that all flavored up, and then get your mince in there, and just keep going and cooking and cooking and cooking. But because we're just doing a little heat up situation, that's the sound of a singing pan, and that's what you want, a good singing pan. And we're gonna let that do its thing, and even get a little bit of a crusty bit on the bottom, because everyone loves those crusty side bits when you do like a bake and a roast, right? So that's what we're going for. Pop that in there. Then, after you've done all your olive oily and your zesty thing, we're gonna squeeze over some lemon juice just to help sharpen it up, you know, because you got lamb, fatty, you know, lemon, acidic, cutty, you know. So what we're doing here is we're balancing flavors, you know. You want to balance your flavors because you don't want a whole one-note dish, you know. And don't be like me, take your pips out first, but you know, I'll just flick them off, you know. Here goes nothing. Right, so we have all our eggplant, a little bit more oregano just for garnish. Probably shouldn't bring plastic over to a barbecue, but hey, you know, live dangerously. Right, 200 degrees C, 400 Fahrenheit, sound. Right, can you hear that? It's roaring, okay? That's what we want, roaring, roaring, roaring. And then all we're gonna do is just casually stand back, have a yarn about how you went to Greece, you know, talk to your mates about having Cypriot delight and Turkish delight, and then the argument between. It's quite nice. So yeah, so ideally if you are cooking this from scratch, it's probably going to take you maybe, you know, I like to cook the mince down for a really long time, so I'm going to say about an hour, or until the mince is like really, really tender, right? Okay, so we've got that nice and hot in there. So You always start your base off with your mince. Some people use potato. I have potato in my recipe, but I forgot to buy it, all right? So forgive me, all right? Listen to this. How cool is this that you're cooking like you would at home? Now, starting to bubble a bit too much. So what I'm gonna have to do is move it up, right? All right, up we go. When I lived in South Africa for a bit, well, it was more like a really, really long-winded holiday. We used to use this thing called a potjie pot, and it's what you cook it on the coals, and it usually has 3 little legs, and this is kind of giving me memories of that, which is really, really nice. So, sitting in a desert in Namibia, drove up from South Africa, having a little potjie, kind of a stew. So this is giving me those kind of feels. So what we're going to do, give it a little twisty, pull it up, do it again, twisty, pop it up, and there we go, lock it in. Now, basically that's us going from high medium heat to a low medium, all right? Boom, pop it in there. And then take off your Michael Jackson glove, pop it over here. And then all we're gonna do is some nice layering. So I'm gonna take our bad boys here, I'm gonna pop them in there and get rid of any lemon pips. We don't like them. And then build it. And build it, and build it, and build it. So you're essentially just sticking it in there and covering it as another layer. And we'll do a few layers like that. Boom, look at that. This is gonna be great. This is literally gonna be great. And this is my sick friend moussaka. So anytime I have a sick friend, I get one of those little foil tins and I send it over to their house, because you can't hate moussaka, you know what I mean? Can't hate moussaka. Especially if it's a gift, you know, a little bit of koha. All right, now, clean your hands up, because that's very important. 20 seconds, sing some Britney Spears and all that stuff. A little bit more of that, and then we'll hit it with some salt and pepper, all right? So, salty walty. Again, another yoga pose for you. A little bit of salt over here in the pig. Chuck that in there. Okay, pop that in there. And then some black pepper. Chuck that in there, awesome. Now we want to heat those up a little bit, so we'll get our lid. So we'll pop the lid on, just to give it a little bit of heat in the eggplant, and then we'll start adding our bechamel sauce. Let's open this bad boy up. We've got our little bechamel sauce here, which I made earlier. Got a bit more oregano. Then we've got our beautiful bay leaves from the garden, which we're going to plop on top. Just for flavour. Right, so let's have a little look. Over here, I got these little thingies, you know, you can get your own thing. They're little tiles with a little gummy base, and they kind of help, but I'm sure, you know, you can use a piece of wood or whatever. So we've got some noise there. This is sounding great. Right, so we're going to lift it up a bit. We're going to lose a little bit of this heat now, because we don't want it to be so intense that we char the bottom too much. All right, here we go. Boom. So stir up your bechamel sauce. Mine's great because I left it to get a skin on top, because I kind of like the textures of the lumps. I know all the years I used to get told off for not having silky smooth bechamel, and now because I'm doing it myself, I'm gonna have lumps in it. Why not? The skin's the best part anyway. So we're just gonna dollop that on top, and hopefully you don't get a whole heap of bechamel in the barbecue, because that will not be a fun job to clean. So we're gonna hoon that all in there. That's a little Kiwiism, a little hoon in there. Boom, here we go. Spread that out. And then you're gonna get that beautiful red oil coming up from the lamb and all the spices. And then a little bit more oregano. And if you wanted to, you can grate some fresh nutmeg over this as well. Boom. In there, don't waste any. Some in the devil's eyes or whatever. And then, boom, here we go. A few bay leaves, because it's really nice if you do that, and bake them on top. Get the flavour in there. Boom, we'll do 3 because it's a lucky number. And then just like an oven, or if you're doing that whole sourdough thing, pop the lid on, get some heat in there, and we're just gonna leave it completely open for the moment. And that is us for the moment. Okay, so we're gonna move the coals around a little bit to the sides, just to help take away some of that heat, all right, from the bottom, because we don't want too crunchy, but we want that kind of like crunchy lasagna vibe, but not cray cray, right? So we're gonna have a little peeky poo. Okay, this is looking good. So now we want to kind of like get that crispy top, you know, that you can get from lasagna. So we're gonna actually put some of the coals from in here on top of the lid, shut the lid, and let's just hope for the best and see if we get some crunchy bits, because that's what it's all about. So we're gonna take these, oh my God, what? Oh, there you go, read, Jamie. All right, there we go. So if you read things, sometimes you can figure out how to do them, but if you do what I do and just think you pull them, but yeah, cool, eh? So we're gonna take some of these coals and hopefully we get them on top. Boom, here we go. Lovely. Get that one on top. A few more. This is gonna be great fun. Pop them on top, get some heat. Boom, look at this. Yum. All right. Right, let's whack the lid down and hope for the best, eh? Here it goes. Oh, it's looking good. We can hear some boiling action going on. I'm going to shut this down. Okay, so hopefully we've got some colour on the top, which would be really, really, really nice. If not, you can get one of those cool little tiny flamethrower things. Go on the top, and then you should get some colour. We're going to have a little look now, right? So we've got some colour, which is good. And we'll chuck that down there. And then here we go. So we've taken you all the way to Greece, all right, with a beautiful moussaka. Look at this, yum. Okay, last dish, one of my favorites, baba ganoush. Again, using the humble eggplant, okay? So baba meaning daddy, so this is literally the daddy of dips. But what I'm gonna do is just have a little fun, right? So what we're doing is we're taking all the flavors of baba ganoush, and then we're gonna roast these on the embers, which are now basically cooling down. So we'll sit them in the embers until we get the crackly skin. Then we'll probably move them into this, depending on how they do in the coals. And then we're gonna rip them open, and then we're gonna dress them with all the drizzles, and then we're gonna smash it. This is really good to do with a load of friends over, you know, get them all involved. So that's what we're gonna do. So we're gonna put these bad boys into the embers like this. So when they go nice and cool, you're literally just gonna chuck them in there, just like that. So we're gonna take our little plants, pop them in. So we got some nice biggies. So we're gonna probably do, well, you know what, I might as well do most of them. So at the end of the night, don't chuck your coals away straight away, let it cool down. And then while it is cooling down, you're gonna add your eggplants straight into the coals. You don't need the grill, anything like that. But if you don't feel comfortable straight away, put the grill in and then go for that, right? But this smells amazing. I love the smell of a charring eggplant. You can also do it with capsicums if you wanna make a romesco sauce. Boom. So we're gonna let them just do their ting for a little while. Then we're gonna be using a little bit of the Culley's Moroccan style harissa. Look at that. So that's just gonna be a little pop of flavor on top. Doesn't usually go in baba ganoush, but we're not gonna tell anyone, all right? So then we've got some tahini, we've got some lemon, we've got some olive oil, we've got a bit of Greek yogurt to finish, and some of this stuff, which I just love. A little bit of pomegranate sizzip, you know, a little bit of syrup all over there. And then just for a little bit more freshness and a little bit of pungency, we're gonna go for garlic. We're just gonna grate raw garlic over the top. And then we're gonna take you all the way back to the 1980s with some lovely curly parsley. And we might even put a little sprig on the side. There we go, boom. All right, so we'll have a look at these. You just need to turn them over. So pretty much you do 4 turns. All right, pretty simple. Get some tongs and we'll see how we go. So we're just gonna turn them over, and we're looking for the skin to crack. It's not quite there yet, so we'll keep them in there. Move around those coals, move around your eggplant, get comfortable with the heat. So we're sitting at about 150 degrees, so it's just low enough. So they're just gonna slowly cook. So you're cooking the inside via steam, and on the outside you get that beautiful crackly blackened eggplant skin. Now normally people peel them off, but I like to leave a few with the skin on, so hence why I'm doing it as a whole eggplant, because I love the flavour of the crackly skin and then the soft spongy centre of the eggplant. But we'll leave these guys alone for a bit. So if you can't peel your garlic, there's one thing you can do, is put it on a chopping board if you want to, and then you just get one of these contraptions, which is a cast iron pan, and you just do one of these. Just give it a couple of those, and then you can break your garlic down, and it takes the root off, again, compost. And then from there, all you're gonna do is just give it a little shake, and hopefully you can peel all your garlic and your skins nice and quick, right, with no hassle. You can do it with a knife as well, but you know, it's kind of fun when you've got a big old thing like that to play around with, though. So yeah, we'll peel all our garlic. And again, when it comes to seasoning this, I always found it really hard to write a recipe for baba ganoush because I feel like a lot of it is to taste. So the lemon juice, the lemon zest, the tahini. The great thing about baba ganoush is that you can just literally keep going and just keep adding what you want. So if it's not creamy enough from the tahini, add a bit more lemon for some sharpness. And then for me, I like a little sugar hit. So I hit it with that pomegranate syrup. And then we're gonna finish it with a little bit of roasted sesame seeds and a little bit of toasted cumin, or cumin, whatever you wanna call it. And then we're gonna sprinkle that on top, so it's like a little bit of a crunch on the old texture of the soft eggplant, you know? So normally, like again, baba ganoush is a dip, but we're doing it completely differently because I just like to be awkward. So there we go. All right. So we've got our garlic, we've got our lemons, we've got our parsley, got all our seasoning. And then from there, all we've got to do is dress it with all our lovely dressings. So I think, hopefully, we're just going to turn them over. So this is what we're looking for. Sounds like a loaf of bread. There we go. Listen to your food. So turn them over. And just because it's a bit cooler, I mean, keep using your tongs, but you can just turn them over. Give them a little 1, 2, 3, 4, you know, a little turn around. And now they're nice and crispy. So what you're looking for is to just tap it, see the color change from black to purple. And that's when you know you're sort of getting there. And then the skin will go nice and crunchy and crispy. Woo. So you hear that? That's what you're listening for, crunchies. Pop that in, move them around a bit. Give them a little bit of love with these extremely small tongs. There we go, chuck them in there. Right, not much longer. So we've got this beautiful, beautiful eggplants that are just finishing up. I'm just giving them a little prod now. Some need a little bit longer than others. So what we'll do, we'll grab our pan, which is over here, one of these, and then we'll just pop the semi-done eggplants in there, and we're just going to give them another turn. And there we go, we've got the crispy skin going. There we go, this one's not, yeah, let's give it a little bit longer. All right, and then we'll re-stoke them, and then we'll give them a little bit more of a turn. There we go, sweet. So this is what you're looking for, a nice spongy guy, almost cooked there. The middle is still a bit firm, so we're going to wait a little while longer. Okay, here we go. Do that. Stoke up your coals. I'm going to do a bit of work. Right, now got a bit of heat in there, that's great. And back in with the eggplants, sit them down, they're nearly there. Okay. Okay, sweet. A little bit longer. All right, now, we're still sitting at the sort of 100-degree mark here, which is fine, because the coals are going to still do the heat part. Right, after that, so we're going to give it a little bit longer, a couple more turns, And then what we're going to do is put it in this pan, heat up the bottom of the pan. We're going to chuck in a few eggplants, and then we're literally just going to tear them apart and then dress them, and then the bottom will be nice and hot. Okay, so we've got some smoke going. Really nice. Okay, so here we go. I think we've got one that's looking pretty good. Soft in the middle. And we got all the liquid coming out of our mates. Oh yeah, there we go. So we'll put a couple in there and we'll let the rest finish off for the rest of the day until they cool down. There we go, beautiful. And one more. Okay, so 3 + 1, there we go. Leave the rest in there to finish up. Cool. All right, so in goes our mate. Boom. Chuck that in, pop that in, do a little spin-a-roon. Shouldn't be as hot now because you're on embers. And then chuck this bad boy in there, get it nice and warm. And then we're just gonna turn them around. There we go. And then we're just going to shut the lid, let that get a little bit warmer, and then we'll just get all our ingredients ready for the next part, right? So we'll do a bit of prep, all right? Over here we've got our spices and our little finishing crunchy bits. We've got some roasted toasted cumin, you can't see it, but it's there. And then we've got a little bit of roasted toasted sesame seed, which is there. We've got our lemon, which we're going to zest over them, and then we're going to juice them. We've got our garlic, which we're going to microplane over the top using this fella. And then we're going to chop up our beautiful, beautiful 1980s parsley. Right, here we go. So these are just your veggie ingredients, basically. Boom. Keep this tied up, right? And then you can just pop it down, grab it there, and then find the top of all of your herbs. Give it a little twist. These are great for stock, or you can chuck them in there to flavor up some stuff. But all we're going to do is grab that, hold it nice and tight, and then we're just going to chop that down there like that. Make sure you keep your thumbs and fingers out. Pinch it again, give it another roll. Do one of these. Boom, we've got a whole heap of parsley. And then one more time, but I quite like it quite rough, so there we go. Boom, we've got our parsley. And then we're just going to grate these guys down just to be on the safe side. So while we're over there, we can just throw it on. All right, okay, so you just need a spoon and a knife. Here we go. Some fancy equipment. All right, here we go. So now, with just those lovely embers, what we're going to do is cut in, cut open. Look at that. Look at that. Then we open these bad boys up, spread them all over the base of this pan. And we're not looking for this pan to get that hot, actually. We just want it to stay warm while we dress it, because that's the key. So while they're warm, really importantly, you want to dress them all. And we just left the eggplants whole to make like a real kind of cool vibe, you know, for the whole family to see you taking a nose to tail approach on an eggplant, right? Because we will do it with meat, but we should do it with our veggies too, you know? There we go. And there's this beautiful smoky flavor coming through, which is really, really cool, which I'm enjoying. So first things first, I'm gonna get some lemon juice in there just to cut them down. All right, get that in there. And just think of all the washing up, right? There's not gonna be that much washing up, right? A one pan wonder again. So a bit of lemon juice, pop that over there. A little bit of olive oil, just to dress up your eggy planty boys. All right. Then some tahini, which is actually a sesame paste. You can find this in your Middle Eastern stores. You can find it in most stores nowadays. It's not too hard to get hold of because of Mr. Ottolenghi making it quite popular in a lot of his cookbooks. So I'm going to chuck some of those in there. So just dress it up. So basically take how you like your baba ganoush. You can add smoked paprika. You can add a little bit of chili flakes, you know, just go hard. You know, my recipe is for me, but your recipe can be totally for you. So we're actually going to add a little bit of that harissa in there as well from Culley's. So we're going to do that alongside some sesame seeds and some cumin. We'll just mix them up. They're both toasted, so they go on there just for a little crunch factor, so it's not just one note texture, mush, but you've got the crunchy skin as well, which will give you a cool little hoon. Boom, get rid of that. All right, here we go. So a little bit of this, and then you can just like drop it on. This is your little bit of colour, you know, and then when you mix it through, it's going to be rosé d'orp. There you go, look at that. Oh yeah. Okay, perfect, perfect, perfect. Then we need a little bit of salt from the pig. Boom, boom, boom. And this bottom's just bubbling up. It's really cool. The sauce is hitting the bottom. There's a lot of sound going on. It's good fun. Chuck in some pepper. And then we'll do a little bit of garlic in here. Boom, look what we're doing. Getting rude with the food. Making it saucy, making it delicious. Tap that in. We don't mind about big chunks. There we go, look at that. Just nice and relaxing. Get rid of that bit. Boom, all that garlic in there. Boom, boom, flavor, 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 flavor. And then we'll do some lemon juice as well, or lemon zest and lemon juice. So lemon juice is on first, so get that on there, dress it up. This one I like to do for my mates when they come over, just because we can get some bread, and my mate Ben makes the most ultimate focaccia, so he brings that over, and then what we do is we stick this on the old fire, and then you just dip in. So we've turned a dip into a main dish. How cool is that? Right, and then a little bit of this beautiful pomegranate syrup. Again, you can find this in most stores nowadays. It's in some supermarkets as well. Boom, like that, just scissor, just to give you that sweet element and a little bit of colour. Boom, ready. Then we are going to add some Greek yogurt, why not? Dollop that on the top. Boom, look at this. Perfect spoons. Look at that. Oh, yes. This is what we're talking about, you know? Look at that. You can have a steak, man, but sometimes your vegetables are your heroes, you know? A bit more pepper, a bit more salt. Chuck that over the shoulder for the devil and all that stuff. And then chuck on the parsley. And clean up your hands. Grab your tea towel. Give it the perfect folds to get the 4 folds. It's pretty impressive, right? No one cares if you can do that. But there we go. Look at it. Looky, looky, looky. Look how good that is. Oosh. Who's not hungry? Like, get some bread, get some toasted pita breads, get some sourdough, get some focaccia, and there we go. We're all done. All right, okay, so that is my eggplant 3-way, a little bit cheeky, but we've got baba ganoush done a totally different way, so it's not just a dip, it's a dish. Then over here, we've got our fish fragrant eggplant, a nice Szechuan dish, but with a really kind of barbecue-y, charry flavor going on there, so it almost tastes like it's had a wok, but remember, you can get a wok attachment for this, you know, you can stick a wok in here and go hard. And then last but not least, the moussaka that we cooked in this cast iron camper stove, and look at that, it's just beautiful. So, you know, you've always got to have a little dig in, you know, so we'll probably dig into this. Can I dig into it? Cool. Yeah. So here we go, look at this. Boom, we're going in, we've got a nice big bit of eggplant there, and then we've got the mincy situation at the bottom. Ah, look at that, you know, and then there's a little bit of a crust just from where we charred it at the bottom, and look at that, pretty good, right? All creamy, all good. What more would you want? Eggplant 3-way. All right, so before I get fully involved with this little moussaka situation, this Kamado Joe is definitely going to be on my Christmas list, so hopefully a bit of a good boy. Fantastic to show you how you can actually cook in, on and around and do everything in one barbecue. Like, this for me has just been such a pleasure because I haven't had to use any other equipment apart from the barbecue. when I'm not in my garden utilising all this fun stuff, you can find me at Everybody Eats at Onehunga, but we do have another space in Wellington. Come visit us, pay as you feel, help end food waste, help just, you know, be a good sort. And I hope you enjoy our recipes, and let's do this, eh?
Thanks for watching this week's episode of Culley's barbecue series. Thanks again to all our awesome sponsors, Mitre and Jack Daniels, for helping make this happen. Don't forget to subscribe so you can win prizes, including some of the best cooking tools, gadgets, barbecues, accessories, meat and sauce packs, and loads more stuff. Visit culleys.co.nz/barbecue series for more details, and I'll catch you next week.